Hey, what is up, my fellow guardians of the grid? Welcome back to another streaming session. Definitely want to thank you if you're checking out the live stream on Twitch. I also want to say thank you if you are checking out the replay on YouTube. If you are new to the channel and are not yet subscribed, all I can say is, what are you waiting for? Don't be shy. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm a pretty nice guy. Make sure you hit the notification, or make sure you hit the sub button if you're on YouTube. Make sure you hit the follow button if you're on Twitch. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're made aware anytime I go live or anytime I upload a video to the channel. If I happen to see that you are a new subscriber and your name is visible, I'll be sure to give you a shout out on the next video. For those of you that are returning to view, or that are already subscribed or returning to view the new content, certainly want to say thank you for that. Your support certainly does mean so much to me. I do have a collection of YouTube shorts that I've uploaded to the channel, so if you're into that type of content, or if you know somebody who is, make sure you share that with them, and fellow family members, fellow gamers, fellow guardians, anybody who you think would enjoy that. Today I'm going to be jumping into Diablo 3. I wanted to redo the Demon Hunter showcase that I did last few days ago. There was a few things that I was missing, and I kind of did it on the fly, so I was just kind of going based on what I saw. There was a bit of information that I either got wrong, I left out, or that I want to revisit, or just try to get a little bit more in detail. So we're going to jump in here. Won't be doing any gameplay. Like I said, this is really just going to be a showcase. So definitely want to thank you if you are checking this out here today. So, as mentioned in the as mentioned earlier, this is going to be my Demon Hunter. What I've done, or what I'll be doing, is starting off with the abilities, and then I'll be moving over to the equipment, so that way everything just kind of makes sense. Now, to start, on my A, I have the bolas, so this way I can generate hatred at a very fast pace. In addition to that, I can cause a lot of splash damage because the bolas are in fact explosive. If you read here, the fire bola that deals increased damage but takes longer to, or excuse me, the fire bola that wraps around the enemy and explodes, and then I've added on the imminent doom, which increases the damage but takes longer to explode. The reason I picked this is because obviously it increases the damage. And a lot of the times when you see something, as I mentioned in the previous video, when you see something that increases the damage, there's usually something that kind of evens it out or balances it out. In this case, it does take longer to explode, but I was able to address that, which I'll touch on that a little bit later. The next next attack that I've chosen was Impale, because Impale is a very useful attack. Now, I believe in the last video I said that it throws out a total of 3 knives, but that is with specific mods, which again I'll get into that in a minute. With Impale, it does cost 20 hatred. I've assigned it to the right trigger because right trigger usually registers as a very heavy attack for me in most games, so that is why I picked that one. And plus, it makes it easy not to spam that. You don't want to. I try not to spam it too much because you can only throw it about 4 or 5 times in a row before you run out of hatred, and you want to make sure that you have that resource available to dedicate it to other abilities, for the most part, to stay alive. But again, I picked this one because it does. It receives a lot of buffs from the equipment that I have, so I threw that one on here. I'm able to clear a lot of crowds with it very easily, and I'm able to cause a lot of damage in a very large field. What I've done is I've included the ricochet, which now that this is applied, it'll ricochet off of an enemy and it'll go to another one. So again, it is very good for clearing out large hordes of enemies and taking out very big enemies, so you're not overwhelmed too easily there. The next thing that I picked was Vault. I put that on the X because it is right next to the A button. It's very easy for me to move over to it. It is a dodge system that I've used to replace the right stick. So with this, because the hunter is a stationary character, just meaning that when you attack with her, she's going to stay stationary. You can't move with her while you're attacking. I know there's other characters with this very same issue, but they have other attacks which allow them to move while they're attacking. For the Demon Hunter, because she is a ranged character, they don't give her the ability to move very much when she's attacking, or at least there's not a lot of attacks that allow you to do so. I'm sure there's one out there. I'm just not able to think of it at this time. Now, it does require 8 discipline, so it doesn't eat into my hatred, and it leaves a trail of fire in my wake. So if I do happen to get a little overwhelmed, I am able to create some distance very quickly, with a very cheap resource cost, and at the same time create a lot of, cause a little bit of damage on the way out with the fire wake. The next item that I picked was the Shadow Power. The Shadow Power itself. All right, sorry for the interruption there, but for the next power that I chose, I assigned it to the Y button. That would be my Shadow Power. The Shadow Power, it only uses 14 Discipline, and you gain life for dealing damage, or you gain life for dealing damage for 5 seconds. What I've added onto that was gained increased movement speed while Shadow Power is active. Another big reason why I picked this is because Shadow Power also gets a buff from the equipment that I have, so I will also, again, go over that a little bit more in detail. The next ability that I chose was the Chakram. This specific ability releases a spinning blade of death that slices through enemies. Instead of using it as a projectile, I did use it as a shield, or a shroud, if you will. It surrounds me while it surrounds yourself with spinning chakram. So again, because the fact that Demon Hunter is a ranged character, I wanted something that would be able to protect me while I'm stationary, or at least cause a little bit of damage, so that I can create some distance with the vault ability. So that's one of the reasons I picked that. And it's really nice to have when you're rolling around and you see breakable items. You can just kind of walk by them and it'll hit them, so you don't have to go over there and break them. It'll just automatically open up for you. So that's another reason. You can get a quick speed boost if you crack, I think it's like seven breakable items within a certain time period. I digress. The next item that I have here is the grenade. This is another one that I wanted to come back to. I know in the previous video when I was listening to it, I said that I have it to where I'm able to throw a total of 4 grenades. I want to correct that. You can throw a total of 3 grenades. Throw a grenade that bounces and explodes. And then the perk that I put on there was throw 2 additional grenades. So this is really good for clearing out crowds or for crowd control. It does cause a lot of splash damage, and there's a I was able to find a way to magnify or amplify this damage, which I'll go over that as we move over to the equipment. Last thing here are the passive abilities. I put the ambush on here so that you deal additional 40% to enemies that are above 75%. Gain life, because when you start getting into torment level 9, 10, and 11, or 9, 10, 11, and 12, you can lose life in an instant, and unless you have a specific build to address that, you want to make sure that you have something that gives you life resource or armor resource, whatever, again, however it is that you have your character set up. I'll go over this in a second, but my second, the passive number 2, I have Hot Pursuit. It just increases movement speed by 20% for 4 seconds when you hit an enemy. And then last, I have your Blood Vengeance. Your maximum hatred is increased by 25%. In addition, gain 30 hatred and 3 discipline when you are healed by a health globe. So I did notice that with this character, she does produce a lot of health globes. So why not take advantage of that? Also, I really enjoy perks that give you additional bonuses to other resources when they're only intended for one. So like, for example, in this case, a health globe is intended to refill 1 resource. That would be your health gauge. When I grab one, I now get 2 additional resources replenished. So makes it easy to make a decision on that. Now, moving over to the powers that I selected, if you are far enough in the game and you have the Kanai Cube, or the Cube of Kanai, I think it's called, unlocked, you can extract abilities from other pieces of gear, and you can actually assign them as additional slots. So in this case, with Demon Hunter, I use M&A's Duffel, which allows now bolos explode instantly and deal 175% increased damage. So very big no-brainer right there on putting that one on. The Hellcat Waistguard grenades now have a chance to bounce 5 times, dealing an additional 50% on each bounce. This bonus is increased to 800% on the final bounce. So that's one of the reasons I picked this here. That would be the grenade, along with the 2 the perk that multiplies it to 3, or multiplies it, excuse me, that adds an additional 2 grenades. And then lastly, I have the Arc Stone. The Arc Stone is another item that I threw on for crowd control. So you know, when you have a lot of enemies bearing down on you or coming in close, this here allows lightning pulses periodically between the wearers of this item, dealing 1500% weapon damage. So very good for, again, crowd control and just, you know, it's a whole lot of get off me, if you will. Now moving over to the equipment. First, I mean, we'll just go with what's showing here. The Fulminator is what I chose here. If you look closely at this, the big reason I picked this is lightning damage has a chance to turn enemies into lightning rods, causing them to pulse 554% weapon damage as lightning every seconds to nearby enemies. So again, another fail-safe, because you don't want people to get too close to you when you have this type of class on. Now, the gear that I have on here, it is a gear set, so what that means is that you have to have a certain number of items equipped in order for certain abilities to be available to you. So in this case, I have the Shadows, well, I don't know what the whole armor set is called. I just call it the Shadows armor. So if you have two of the equipable items, while equipped with a melee weapon, your damage is increased by 6,000%. So that's one of the reasons I have the Fulminator equipped, is because it is a melee weapon, so I do get a 600 or 6,000% melee or damage increase just for having that. Now moving down, if you have 4 pieces of the set, Shadow Power gains the effect of every rune and lasts forever. So again, that's the big reason why I picked Shadow's Vengeance or Shadow Power, was because once it's active, and the only time that it goes away is if you die. So if you do die, you want to make sure that you want to remember to reactivate it, but ultimately you get the power of all the abilities, and it lasts forever, so why not? And then lastly, if you have all 6 of the sets, or if you have all 6 of the armor set, Impale deals an additional 75,000% weapon damage to the first enemy it hits, and 25,000% damage subsequent enemies. So again, that's the reason I have the Ricochet, is because once it hits, it ricochets, and then it continues on, causing additional damage to help clear out large, very big enemies, like big boss enemies, or large groups of enemies. So very good. The 6 items that you will need in order to complete this, or in order to unlock this ability, you will need the Shadow's Grasp, the Shadow's Burden, the Shadow's Bane, the Shadow's Mask, and the Shadow's Heals, and the Shadow's Coil. Those are the 6 items that I have there. Now, skipping over, because you know I pretty much explained all of the reasons why I have this the armor, so we'll just move over to the necklace or the charm that I have. I have the Traveler's Pledge, which is also applied, or I've also applied a special jewel. If you have those, they look, you'll find them in this little area right here, Legendary Gems, which you can rank up through the rifts. But I digress. The Traveler's Pledge is what I have on here. It is a set item. Let me see. It is a set item, and yes, I do have the other item to the set. So what this does is that if you have 2 items to the set, while moving, damage taken is reduced up to 50%, and then while standing, damage dealt is increased by up to 100%. So I'm sure you can guess, because the Demon Hunter is a stationary character, that is one of the bigger reasons why I chose to have this specific item set, is because while she's stationary, you get 100% damage increase, so you're multiplying that 75,000% damage, resulting in literally billions of hit points. But moving on, we have Lakuni's Prowls. This is just kind of taking a side over, if you notice around the items themselves, there is a gold border. That is because these are ancient legendary items. All of these items are in fact legendary, ancient legendaries, which you can Sorry, something. Sorry about that. Something's all wonky with my headset. But as I was saying, the Lacuni Prowls, it is an ancient legendary item which I was able to forge or craft all of these items through the Kanai Cube, so I may do a video on that. You do need a lot of resources to make that happen, but it is possible, so maybe I'll do a video on that sometime later on. But again, I'm kind of trailing off here. Forgive me for that. The Lacuni Prowls, it does give you an additional movement speed, and then, let me take a look here. Where am I? There we go. And then it gives you a couple of other buffs here and there as well, but nothing too special with that item. So you can actually, depending on how you want to build your demon hunter, if you're following this, just know that you can switch this out with other things that you feel might work better for it. Now I also got the holy point shot. Impale. This is where I wanted to make that correction for sure, was because in the last video I said that when I throw when I'm throwing the dagger, it I have it to where it can split off into 3, but I didn't really explain how I was able to do that. That is with the holy point shot. If you notice right there, it says Impale throws 2 additional knives. So now you have a fan, pretty much a cone of pure destruction, and the possibility of landing billions of points worth of damage. Very awesome to have, very easy. I believe this is pretty easy to obtain if you're going through the rifts, but you want to keep your eye out for the holy point shot because it is very useful for a demon hunter. The compass rose is the second piece to the set that I have for my necklace. It does allow for the endless walks, but this here is not an ancient legendary, which I'm just now noticing for the first time. So I may have to do a video where I turn this into an ancient legendary. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. The next item that I have here, again, this is kind of a free item slot. You can fit whatever you want in there, whatever you feel works best for you. I chose the Convention of Elements. Very simple reason why is because let's see. Chance to smite a nearby enemy for 5,640% weapon damage as a holy. Heal yourself for 3%. Gain 165% increased single. Oh, I'm sorry, that is the Minaret Teardrop that I have equipped. The Convention of Elements. I don't know why it's not showing me the actual ability. Hold on. There it is. Gain 165% increased damage to a single element for 4 seconds. This non-static effect rotates through the elements available to your class in the following order: Arcane, Cold, Fire, Holy, Lightning, Physical, and Poison. So that's the main reason why I have it there. I did equip the Minaret, I want to say it's the Minaret Teardrop of the Starweaver. You can again upgrade this through Nephilim Rift challenges or the Rift levels. Let me see. I believe the Hunter's Wrath is another, or I think I already covered that. The items that you see that are the ancient legendaries, they're not necessarily the green ones, but these items you can switch out. You can kind of pick whatever works best for you in your demon hunter, but if you're looking to build something that's effective with the armor sets, this is the green ones are the ones that you want to make sure that you have. I do have a ton of them, or I do have a ton of legendary items just sitting in my inventory. So if you are a Diablo player and you need to, you're looking for some items, or if you need help, by all means you can always hit me up. But that is my demon hunter. I wanted to give a chance to showcase her and just kind of show you guys what it is I'm working with here. And I wanted to make a few corrections to the previous video that I had. So nothing too crazy, nothing too long. I know that it does take a while to go through all of these, but I'm happy to say that we got it a little bit under the last video. So I do hope you enjoyed the content. If you are checking out today's live stream on Twitch, I want to say thank you for that. If you are checking out the replay on YouTube, definitely want to thank you for that as well. If you are new to the channel and are not yet subscribed or following, all I can say is, what are you waiting for? Don't be shy. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm not a pro. I'm not a noob. Just a regular dude who enjoys video games. Started streaming that with the world, and I welcome anybody who wants to help grow this channel with me. So be sure to hit the follow button if you're on Twitch. Make sure you hit the sub button if you're on YouTube. Make sure you hit the follow or the notification bell so you're made aware anytime I go live or anytime I upload a video to the channel. If I see that you are a new subscriber and your name is visible, I'll be sure to give you a shout out on the next video. As always, I like to take a quick moment to say thank you for those of you, my fellow guardians of the grid, who are already subscribed and returning to view the new content. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. It means so much to me. I do have a collection of YouTube shorts that I've uploaded to the channel, so if you're into that type of content, make sure you check that out. Make sure you share that with fellow friends, fellow guardians, fellow gamers, anybody who you think would enjoy that type of content. I'll be looking to jump back onto Diablo 3 later on tonight. I may do a little bit of a stream for the Nephilim Rift challenges, just to kind of showcase my barbarian. Depending on how much feedback or how many views I get on this video here on both Twitch and YouTube, I'll see about making a video for my other builds. I think I have a build for each class, so you know, we'll see how this goes, and that will determine if we make another video in the future. I do want to thank you again. I hope you all have a safe rest of the day. Please have a great rest of the night. Again, stay safe, and I will catch you, Guardians, on the next grid.